10 of history's weirdest book dedications. Welcome to Next Chapter Audio, where we explore the stories behind the stories you love. In today's episode, we're diving into one of the most easily overlooked pages in a book, the dedication. These words might seem simple at first, but some authors have turned them into a canvas for wit, sarcasm, and, at times, a dash of drama. So let's turn the page to uncover 10 of the strangest, funniest, and most unexpected book dedications from history. From snarky digs to touching tributes, each of these dedications has a story of its own. Number 10. Romantic Copper, Its Lure and Lore by Ira B. Joralemon. It's not unusual for authors to open their books with a warm dedication to a beloved spouse or family member. But Ira B. Joralemon's dedication in his 1934 non-fiction book, Romantic Copper, Its Lure and Lore. Well, let's just say it isn't your typical romantic tribute. Joralemon, a geologist by trade, acknowledges a few of his wife's admirable traits, only to follow it with a line that can be taken as either playful or a little too blunt. He writes, "She ain't so good-looking so that any other fella besides myself is likely to get stuck on her." Whether you read it as tongue-in-cheek or just plain backhanded, one thing's for sure, Joralemon's dedication is not the usual mushy love letter, and much like his book, it has a peculiar charm all its own. Number 9. My Lady Jane by Brodie Ashton, Cynthia Hand, and Jody Meadows. Co-authors Brodie Ashton, Cynthia Hand, and Jody Meadows didn't hold back their humor in the dedication of their 2016 YA fantasy novel, My Lady Jane. Part of their Lady Janies series, the book offers a wildly imaginative take on the life of Lady Jane Grey, the ill-fated 16th century monarch famously known as the 9 Days Queen for her short reign before her execution. In their dedication, the authors write, "For everyone who knows there was enough room for Leonardo DiCaprio on that door, and for England, we're really sorry for what we're about to do to your history." The apology to England might seem fitting, considering the creative liberties the book takes with historical facts. But the pop culture nod to Leonardo DiCaprio's character in Titanic? Completely random, yet oddly hilarious in its irrelevance. And that touch of randomness has a charm all its own, setting the tone for the playful narrative that follows. Number 8. Skullduggery. Pleasant, The End of the World by Derek Landy. Some writers treat their book dedications like mini masterpieces of humor, and Derek Landy is certainly one of them. Known for his witty and over-the-top dedications in his Skullduggery Pleasant series, Landy turns these brief notes into stories themselves. In Mortal Coil, he claimed he was forced to dedicate the book to his editor, and in Deathbringer, he playfully expressed jealousy over his nieces receiving all the attention. But in his 2007 novella, Skullduggery Pleasant, The End of the World, Landy decided to dedicate the book to his cover artist, Tom Percival, and it's anything but your standard thank you. He starts off by acknowledging how much praise he's received for the covers, then casually suggests that he could probably design them himself if he really wanted to. "I have the raw talent, the eye," he claims, adding, "and I have that 1 year of art college under my belt." Landy continues, joking that Percival must feel threatened by his artistic potential, which is why he works so hard to keep his position. He ends with a cheeky final line, "P.S. You're welcome." It's the kind of dedication that shows Landy's humor extends far beyond the pages of his novels. Number 7. Liber de Illustribus Henricis by John Capgrave. 15th century friar John Capgrave, a historian and theologian, used his book dedications to navigate the turbulent political landscape of his time. During the War of the Roses, Capgrave penned Liber de Illustribus Henricis, a book on English history, which he dedicated to then King Henry VI, praising both the king and his Lancastrian forebears as divinely appointed rulers. However, when Henry was deposed and Edward V took the throne, Capgrave didn't hesitate to adapt. In 1462, he published his Chronicle of England, switching his dedication to Edward IV and endorsing him as the rightful king, a stark reversal from his previous allegiance. Some viewed Capgrave's quick political pivot as shameless brown-nosing, while others suggest it was simply a survival tactic in an era when royal patronage was essential for publishing. Capgrave's actions might seem bold today, but his ability to dedicate diplomatically reflected the delicate balance between loyalty and pragmatism necessary for authors in his era. And while modern authors may still play to powerful supporters, they tend to be a little more subtle. Number 6. Sick in the Head. Conversations about Life and Comedy by Judd Apatow. Judd Apatow, celebrated for his offbeat humor and knack for balancing comedy with sincerity, surprised readers with his tongue-in-cheek dedication in Sick in the Head, Conversations about Life and Comedy. After thanking his wife, Leslie, and daughters, Maud and Iris, Apatow turns his attention to his parents with a line that leaves a lasting impression. He writes, "And for Mum and Dad, your support and the mental health issues you gave me made all of this possible." While fans familiar with Apatow's comedic style might chuckle at the jab, it's also a reminder of the emotional honesty that underpins much of his work. After all, comedy often has its roots in personal challenges, and Apatow's nod to his parents is both a playful tribute and a glimpse into the family dynamics that may have inspired his unique perspective on life and laughter. Number 5. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. Mark Twain, known for his wit and eccentric humor, left readers with a peculiar and unforgettable message at the start of his 1884 classic, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. While often referred to as a dedication, it's more of a humorous disclaimer that captures Twain's signature blend of satire and mischief. Persons attempting to find a motive in this narrative will be prosecuted. Persons attempting to find a moral in it will be banished. Persons attempting to find a plot in it will be shot. Twain's playful warning flips the traditional dedication on its head, promising readers nothing but irreverence. This curmudgeonly statement hints that his book is a romp to be enjoyed without overthinking, perfectly setting the tone for the wild adventures within. It's a memorable, tongue-in-cheek opening that has delighted readers for generations, adding to Twain's reputation as a master of humor. Number 4. Masquerade by Terry Pratchett. Terry Pratchett, celebrated for his humor and sharp wit, delivered a delightfully sarcastic dedication in his 1995 Discworld novel, Masquerade. In true Pratchett style, his message combines both humor and a hint of exasperation. My thanks to the people who showed me that opera was stranger than I could imagine. I can best repay their kindness by not mentioning their names here. Pratchett's tongue-in-cheek nod to opera is especially fitting for Masquerade, a novel set in Ankh-Morpork's opera house, where a ghostly presence stirs up trouble in a parody reminiscent of the Phantom of the Opera. Whether Pratchett was bemused by the eccentricities of opera or simply unimpressed, his dedication strikes just the right note, both mysterious and funny, perfectly aligned with the novel's tone. Number 3. Wildfire by Nelson DeMille. In the 2006 suspense thriller Wildfire, Nelson DeMille adds a humorous jab at authors who drop famous names in their dedications. DeMille takes things to a whole new level, thanking an eclectic and unexpected list of public figures. He opens by acknowledging the Emperor of Japan and the Queen of England for promoting literacy, before moving on to celebrities who've allegedly complimented his work. Bruce Willis, for instance, reportedly called DeMille one day to say, "Hey, you're a good writer." Paris Hilton makes the list simply because her family's hotel gift shops stock his books, and, in a final touch of sarcasm, he thanks Albert Schue, King of the Belgians. DeMille recalls that Albert waved to him once during a royal procession in Brussels, which screwed up traffic for half an hour, thereby forcing me to kill time by thinking of a great plot to dethrone the King of the Belgians. With his playful name-dropping, DeMille's dedication is a perfect mix of wit and satire, poking fun at the celebrity shout-outs found in many book dedications. Number 2. The Bad Beginning by Lemony Snicket. In a series of unfortunate events, Lemony Snicket, the pen name of author Daniel Handler, introduces readers to his fictional lost love, Beatrice through a series of darkly humorous dedications. The series' first book, The Bad Beginning, begins simply with, "To Beatrice, darling dearest, dead," setting the stage for a tale steeped in gloom and dry wit. Each of the 13 books in the series continues the theme with a fresh, often morbid twist. In The Vile Village, he writes, "When we were together, I felt breathless. Now you are." In The Miserable Mill, he poetically notes, "My love flew like a butterfly until death swooped down like a bat." By the 12th book, The Penultimate Peril, Snicket finally reveals Beatrice's fate, a tragic house fire. Here, he dedicates the book with the line, "No one could extinguish my love or your house." Each dedication weaves a part of the story's mystery, blending humor and tragedy to create dedications as memorable as the series itself. Number 1. Anansi Boys by Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman's dedication in his 2005 fantasy novel. Anansi Boys is a masterclass in clever ambiguity. Instead of singling out any one person, Gaiman crafted a dedication that feels both personal and universal, acknowledging everyone and no one at the same time. He writes, "Because we haven't yet met, have only a glancing acquaintance, are just crazy about each other, haven't seen each other in much too long, are in some way related, will never meet, but will, I trust, despite that, always think fondly of each other." This one's for you, with you know what, and you probably know why. In this brilliantly elusive message, Gaiman covers all his bases, leaving no one out and ensuring that anyone could feel the dedication was meant for them. It's witty, inclusive, and uniquely his style, a dedication that perfectly captures the humor and warmth that run through his writing. Thanks for joining us on this journey through some of the most memorable book dedications. These authors remind us that even a single page can make a big impression. Which dedication did you find the most surprising or hilarious? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Next Chapter Audio for more behind-the-scenes stories, author trivia, and more. Until next time, keep reading and keep discovering the hidden gems tucked between the pages.